Hey there, my name's Niiamah Ashong, and I recorded 100 podcast episodes in 90 days. And here's something that I learned from it. This one here is not like all like sunshine and roses on this. Like realistically, I created this process here so that the Outliers at business would be able to be supported by the Outliers at podcast, and in order to make to bring in clients. I would meet awesome people through it. I could see just various ways that I could leverage the podcast in order to create clients. And one of the challenges that came up as I did this was that for the first time in my business career, I had the problem of having too full of a calendar. I didn't know what to do with it. I we got our calendar full about 2 months in advance, and so what was happening? Actually, it was about 6 weeks in advance. So what I mean by full was that we had at the time 3 days worth of podcast conversations taking place, where I would have six people on in each hour. That were in a podcast panel, and that happened 3 days a week. So I think I had about 18 hours, 15 to 18 hours a week of podcast conversations. And then from there, I was also doing group coaching conversations where people could schedule time as a thank you to be able to continue on with me there. This is something that I teach, and I actually give this system away to people who join me inside of our Outliers at our Profitable Impact program, where I literally give the program in 7 days worth of like this support from me and the members in there to be able to get this done. So if you're thinking this is something I couldn't take on, like literally, we'll just give it to you. People are like, "Can I steal this?" I'm like, "I'll just give it to you." So like check the link in the bio and description to see how you can get your hands on that. Anyway, I went through, and it was the first time that I had my calendar completely full, and the what I don't want you to know about me was that I felt really overwhelmed, honestly. I had talked about like having better problems, and this is the first time I realized I'm like, look, I know what it's like to have a completely empty calendar or a calendar where people are randomly or sporadically coming on. Like this is a better problem to have too many people on the calendar, but at the same time, I was like, what do I do with this? And honestly, I'm still learning. My calendar's like I'm still calibrating for what is the proper amount of invitations that I want to send out in order to kind of have like that optimized calendar. But a couple different things came from this. One, I found that I had to go through a learning, kind of a nervous system journey. Like I had to break through some beliefs and ground myself into my next level as an entrepreneur. And one of the things for me was that the calendar had overwhelmed me, and there was my system wasn't up to speed for the amount of people that I had. This was a process of getting like there were a lot of different moving parts to the process, and it was ultimately to say like how can we get more clients, and how can I bring more people into my communities and start like nurturing and so on and so forth. Well, what was happening was that like by the time my calendar filled, I didn't have a lot of that in place. I didn't have like the follow up emails and things that were going on inside of the community, and I didn't know how to catch up on it. It took me about 3 weeks, honestly, of just like trying to just run through, put my head down, just hold every single call. It took me about 3 weeks to realize that like the problem wasn't going to go away on its own, and that like I still had another 3 to 4 weeks of calls. Like my business wasn't going to sustain itself if I wasn't able to plug in the holes. And so for me, the difficult thing was actually like canceling some days on the calendar, because I had like, you know, what is it, six, five, like 30, 36 people that were on my calendar every single day. So if I needed to recalibrate, like it wasn't a small undertaking, and I value people's time. They had a random person. I do cold outreach, so I had a random person reach out to them to bring on a podcast, and I had to shift things around. It took a bit. It took more than a bit. It actually took me getting sick one day, and then realizing that like I from that place, like once the band-aid was ripped, I was like, okay, it will actually be in their service for me to clean up the back end stuff of what needs to be done so that their episode goes out faster. They have better delivery. We're supporting the episode better, and then they are getting what I actually excel in, which is the coaching, and they're able to understand that. Even at the time of this recording, it's still messy. It's still not done, right? It's good enough. It's working. It's working enough. But there's so much more opportunities for improvement. And it caught me off guard. It caught me off guard because it was just a problem that I didn't know that I was going to face. And so I'm going to come over to you, Outliers. I'll speak some more about like this client creation process because I think there's some real stuff in there. But I want to come to you on this one here. One, when was the last time that you got yourself into a place where you had a better problem? One of the best things about entrepreneurship is that there was always going to be like the next problem to solve. Like in solving one thing, not because there's like fires that need to be put out, but in solving one thing, it naturally creates the next issue, right? So for me, it was like, oh, my calendar's not full, and then I solved that problem completely through the process that I use and I share with Outliers, and then I had now had to solve the problem like, oh, so what do I do now that I don't have the time that I used to have, and how do I manage that, right? And that's something that like it's an ongoing process. I can't like I see that. When was the last time you got better problems? Let's leave that. I want to know about the better problems for you. Put that into the chat, into the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going and making sure that this grows out there. And if you're in the Outliers Edge Guild, make sure to tag me in this so I can come out and respond back, and we'll just keep growing with each other. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Remember this. Until the next time we talk, be you on purpose. Journey on.